This is DigiVision Network.
Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of DigiVision Network with Bayero Agabi, your one-stop show for ICT, business, innovation and lifestyle. I'm your host for today, Princely Momodu.
This is DigiVision Network.
On today's edition, NIPOS continues on the road for digital revolution as it launches a new mobile app. What is the metaverse? We get to understand the concept of what is termed the next big phase in technology. We hear from Nigerians as they reveal the performance of Nimsi and Muhammad Rudman, the president of the Nigerian Internet Registration Association, will be our guest of the week. But before all that, let us check out issues and development that made news during the week.
Nigerian Internet Registration Association, NIRA, has reduced the price of .ng domain by over 40%. NIRA is responsible for maintaining the database of registered names in the .ng country code top-level domain namespace in the public interest of Nigeria and the global internet community. Findings show that .ng domain name sold between 11,000 naira and 13,500 naira depending on the registrar. However, NIRA has reduced the price to 5,500 naira. According to Mr. Muhammad Rudman, NIRA's president, the reduction in price by 40% promotes the agenda of government towards the growth of Nigeria's digital economy, superintended by Professor Issa Pantami, the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy. Like the currency, the Naira and dialing code +234, .ng is Nigerians' identity online. Microsoft has opened a facility in Lagos for its African Development Center. The center, which is a $100 million investment by the multi-billion-dollar firm, is where software engineering solutions is expected to be provided to Africa. The African Development Center is Microsoft's initiative in Africa for an engineering center to provide local solutions with global scalability, as well as provide employment opportunities and further enhance technological innovations in the continent. At the launch ceremony on Monday, the company said the center will now be based in its new ultra-modern state-of-the-art facility at the King's Tower on Clover Road, Ikoyi, housing the product engineering, ecosystem development, and innovation teams. Global beverage brand Heineken has jumped on the MetaVerse bandwagon and launched its first virtual beer for the MetaVerse in the form of Heineken Silver. The Heineken Silver was launched at an event in the MetaVerse recently. Although the company is promoting the product as a legit virtual product that MetaVerse trending users will be able to try out in the virtual world, Heineken said that it is actually an ironic joke for other brands and even themselves that are launching metaverse-related products and services. In fact, the company further mocked its virtual beer for the metaverse on its official website and in a promotional video as well.
You are still watching DigiVision Network. Now, Metaverse didn't become a household name until Facebook changed its corporate name to Metaverse in 2021. As a matter of fact, in 2021, no term has seen more meteoric rise than the Metaverse. As Metaverse became as ambiguous as the term Internet and online, it's important to understand what it means and how it could impact the world.
The term metaverse has its origins in the 1992 science fiction novel Snow Crash as a portmanteau of meta and universe. According to Wikipedia, a metaverse is a network of 3D virtual worlds focused on social connection. In simpler definition, metaverse is a digital representation of our perceived reality where you can live, work, and and socialize in a virtual shared world. To help with your virtual understanding, you can think of the metaverse as kind of like what the Matrix is in the movie The Matrix, except our reality hasn't been taken over by machines. Though rudimentary, some social elements of the metaverse can already be found in video games. Consider Fortnite, an online shooter game played on computers, game consoles, and mobile devices. The average Fortnite player spends hundreds of hours in the game with a personal avatar, fighting with and interacting with avatars of other players. Players also accrue virtual currency that unlocks outfits and other goodies to customize their avatars. Facebook, which you know recently changed its name to Meta, is working on building a metaverse of its own, and the first glimpse of it is currently accessible in the Oculus Quest or MetaQuest 2's game Horizons War, where you can chat with avatars, hang out in different zones, and play some mini games. It is quite primitive, very cartoony, and no way close to being a fully fleshed out alternate world like some you would see in a science fiction movie. Microsoft acquired the VR company Altspace VR in 2017 and has since implemented metaverse features such as virtual avatars and meetings held in virtual reality into Microsoft's Teams. Other smaller companies have worked towards creating the metaverse through virtual worlds in the past, such as the video game VR Chat. Proposed applications for metaverse technology include improving work productivity, interactive learning environments, real estate, and fashion. But the metaverse, in the true sense of it, is a place where everyone can go with a fully built out digital world with places to spend time and things to do, ways to interact, ways to make money, and so on. It's far from being ready, probably many decades away. And this is because there is no one system in place right now that is easily accessible with an entire virtual world and shared economy. VR headsets like MetaQuest, Valve Index, HTC Valve, and PSVR are examples of hardwares that we can and maybe we will access the metaverse in the future, as the metaverse is still quite early in its development. That is a quick look into the metaverse. You can let us know what you think about the metaverse. To watch more videos like this, subscribe to this channel.
NIRA Agabi, welcome you to this new ride, a digital ride that takes you into the lifestyle experience of innovation, tech impact, and new business frontiers. This is DG Vision Network. On a weekly basis, we keep you well informed of developments and trends. Now the tech ecosystem is impacting politics, business, public and private enterprise management, plus how the new digital life can transform your business. I am Bayero Agabi. Join us.
Still to come on DigiVision Network, Nigerians give their scorecard and propose suggestions for the National Identity Management Commission (NIMC) as they impressively continue their increase of the National Identity Database. But before that, let's get to know about Postage. Postage is a mobile app recently launched by NIPOS to enable fulfillment of both offline and online purchase of merchandise with ease.
On behalf of my people, I hereby unveil the motorbikes.
Nigerian Postal Service (NIPOST) has unveiled its new application, Postage, to enable it to fulfill offline and online orders with ease, in accordance to the digital drive of the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami. According to the agency, this mobile solution platform that harnesses technological innovation will help NIPOST to transform its services. Speaking during the unveiling of the application, the Postmaster General of the Federation, Mr. Ismail Adewusi, represented by NIPOST Director of Operations, Mr. Victor Udugele, said with this innovation, NIPOST has left its analog operation behind and embraced a technological solution in its bid to offer quality services to Nigerians.
The post continues to serve as an essential instrument of economic and social development in Nigeria. Just as the federal government has embarked on a comprehensive reform and unbundling of the postal sector to make it responsive to consumer demands through the provision of high quality and affordable universal postal services to the citizens.
On his part, the General Manager, E-Commerce NIPOST, Mr. Oladapo Adekunle, said the event marks the rejigging of the purpose to reposition the agency as the leader in the e-commerce and logistics sector in Nigeria.
Nigerian Post is poised to enable the e-commerce and logistics sector for excellence through its network and provision of enabling infrastructures. This is just the starting point to leveraging the post and its efficiency. We are set to efficiently and effectively operate the soon-to-be unveiled product, Postage in Nigeria, according to global best practices.
The Postmaster General further said through his representative at the event that the new innovation had also culminated in another strategic partnership with Hammerbreeze Limited, Pioneer Motorbikes, already enrolled on the Postage Captain app and waiting to deliver orders.
On behalf of my Postmaster General, I hereby unveil the motorbikes for Postage. Thank you.
Postage is a mobile solution platform that enables the fulfillment of both offline and online purchases of merchandise housed on Apple Store and Google Play Store as Postage and Postage Captain. Tijani Ismail, ICT Manager, Commerce and Logistics Department, NIPOST, who doubles as the project manager for Postage, has more to say. For NIPOST, Postage is not a stop but a continuation of the digitalization drive of the present administration, which the agency is executing to the letters and in the process making sure that NIPOST maintains its lead at the head in the courier sector by setting the pace for others to follow.
As time unfolded, we discovered that the level at which people registered for their NIN and all that sped up, and it's quite encouraging. So if I were advice, I would suggest that young Nigerians who probably are not doing anything and who also are experienced in the use of computer and all that, those who are computer literate, I would advise that they are employed, okay? They're employed to harness and speed up the registration process.
Towards accessing the office here was simple because they gave me a very good reception. There was no much crowd. I fill in my data like names and every other requirement. That was how I scaled through the process, but afterwards, getting it was the big deal.
Last time I went, that was last week, I think it improved.
Let me say over 100. Let me say 75, because I got mine that day, the first slip, and they asked me to come for the second, and I got the second one.
Let me just say 5.
They are doing well. Let's just say 7 over 10.
I'll give them 5.
This is AIT Infotech Network, reaching you from Freetown in Sierra Leone,
Accra, the Ghanaian capital, Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, Johannesburg in South Africa.
We are in Cairo in Egypt,
Tunis, the Tunisian capital,
Cape Town in South Africa.
reaching you from Dubai, Hanover in Germany,
live from Chicago, Las Vegas in the United States of America, Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. We are in Beijing, China, in London, England. I am Bayero Agabi. Join us.
This is DigiVision Network with Bayero Agabi. Earlier in the news, you heard about the Nigerian Internet Registration Association NIRA's reduction in the price of the .ng domain to about 40%. Well, it's not coincidence we have the president of NIRA, Mohammed Rudman, as our guest of the week. He talks to us about the role of NIRA in promoting the agenda of the government towards the growth of Nigeria's digital economy. He also shares with us the importance of local hosting Nigerian ICT ecosystem.
So there are a few things. Part of it is their level of education. You know that substantial part of Nigerians are not educated. Two, it has to also do with digital literacy. A lot of people are not fully aware of what is even a domain, for example. And the third is that a lot of Nigerians that are educated, can afford to buy a domain or that are buying domain, usually buy .com. Because .com is it has what is called the first mover advantage. They were around long before .ng, so people have adopted .com. The mentality is that if you want to have a website, it's just a .com. So that has really pushed people to adopt .com. Another thing is that most Nigerians do not want to align with local products, because they feel this is local. That's why when you want to buy clothes, you want to buy everything, you look for foreign goods. And that's a bad mentality that we need to change gradually. It's not only about NIRA, it's about us as a country. Government has to really push for people to consume local rice, even though the local rice is very, very close to the foreign rice. But people prefer, when they go to buy rice, do you have foreign rights? So that mentality has to change. So those are some of the few factors that have affected the adoption of the .ng domain. I heard recently we have reduced our pricing downward for the top level domain .ng directly with around 40%. This is to ensure affordability, for Nigerians. We are also trying to remove barriers of entry for our registrars. NIRA operates the 3R model called the registry, registrar, and registrant. The registry is NIRA. The registrar are the distributors of NIRA, the ones that sell domain to the end users, and the end users are called registrants. So we are trying to reduce the barriers of entry for organizations that want to become registrars of NIRA, that is distributors of NIRA, so that more Nigerian companies can participate. Right now we have about almost 70 companies, both locally and internationally, but there are a lot of states in Nigeria that do not have a single registrar of .ng. So by removing these barriers and by reaching out to all those states, we tried from 2000, our plan was to start going around the 6 geopolitical zones, but unfortunately because of the COVID-19 pandemic we couldn't do it. But with the pandemic now gradually easing out completely, the intention is to go around and onboard those new registrars so that it's not only affordable but it's available. Wherever you are in Nigeria, you can get a registrar that can handle the registration of the .ng domains. One is the benefit of .ng and the benefit of local hosting. So the benefit of the .ng is that you are buying something that is yours. The money stays in Nigeria. You are not buying from a foreign .com, .net and all other global top level domains. So you don't pay in foreign currency, and therefore that reduces the pressure on our NIRA. The money remains in our economy and it empowers NIRA, and NIRA
staff, are being paid salary from the revenue of that .ng. The second one is that when you want to focus on Nigerians, it's when it comes to global ranking and visibility on the internet, it's better to use the .ng than to use the .com. The third is that if you are an organization, you have a registered company, it's easier to get your domain, the availability of that domain in Nigeria under .ng than under the .com. So for example, if you have a company called cars.ng, you cannot have such a domain name, for example, from .com. It's already taken, or because it has been there, as I said, before the .ng. But in Nigeria, most of those names are available. It gives you opportunity to also that if somebody should purchase that name and you have a copyright on that name, or you have trademark on that name, you can easily get it from .ng. And if somebody should use a .ng to perpetrate crime, to some extent we can reach out to that person, especially when they are Nigerians. So to some extent it's more protected. You are more within a community in Nigeria than for you to participate in the global arena in terms of the domain business. And you asked also about the hosting, which I've been passionate about over the years. We've been advocating that if you register a .ng domain, you localized that money because you did not register a foreign domain. We also have been pleading with Nigerians to ensure that information, the website, the content of the information of that website is hosted within Nigerian data centers, so that when other Nigerians want to access that information, they don't have to reach out to foreign data centers. And that is creating, our local domesticated internet. As we speak now, for example, there are people that are saying Russians should be disconnected from the internet. But honestly, unfortunately for Russia, substantial part of their information is within Russia. 90% of all the information that Russians are browsing is hosted within Russian data centers. So they might not feel isolated even if you disconnect them from the global internet. But in Nigeria, we totally depend on our international submarine cables to browse the internet. So we want to reverse that by ensuring that all our information in Nigeria resides within Nigerian data centers. And that's why, for example, recently government came up with a policy of .gov.ng to ensure all federal government ministries, department and agencies are using .gov.ng, as well as domesticating that information in Nigerian data centers. So safety of the internet, people have been talking about it, but you see, as internet is open, most of the ISPs cannot block anything you're doing, right? So the safety of individuals is about the individuals themselves learning about protecting their information. A lot of people, for example, they use their phones to do, or they don't even use internet banking, but they have an ATM card. Scammers have been calling them, through the telephone call to say, look, I need your PIN number, I need your VBN. They have dubious ways of extracting information from individuals, right? And banks over the years have been telling in almost all the places that do not disclose your PIN number. There is no way the bank can reach out to you to ask for your PIN number. So in terms of the safety of the internet, is just constant advocacy to ensure that people are aware of the dangers on the internet and to some extent to protect themselves. So if you're an internet user, you must make sure that there are certain websites you don't go, you have an antivirus, you have a latest updated software on your phones and on your laptop. There are best practices when it comes to protecting yourself on the internet, the safety on the internet. And government to some extent have been trying to sensitize people on that, especially the NCC, and NIRA in one way or another have done few webinars and few events towards that sensitization. Right now we have an NGO in NIRA called the Ndukwe Kalu Foundation. We're trying to see how we can use that as a platform to see how we can protect children online, because it's one of our key areas, and also to provide general sensitization on how individuals can protect themselves.
That was Mohammed Rudman, the president of the Nigerian Internet Registration Association, and that is where we draw the curtains on today's edition. Remember to stay informed by visiting www.dgvationnetwork.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/dgvationnetwork. Also follow us on our social media handles displayed on your screen. I am Princely Momodu, and on behalf of our regular host, Bayero Agabi, it's bye for now.